Hey, welcome back to Dad Space, the podcast for dads by dads. You're a dad, I'm a dad. We're together here. Together. That's two togethers. We're together here on Dad Space. Yeah, it's been one of those days. You know, you ever have one of those days? Today's that day for me. Well, glad to have you here. Welcome to the show. The first time here, my name is Dave. I'll be the dad and the host of Dad Space. I live in Ontario, Canada, and I love talking to dads just like you. So thanks for pressing play. Thanks for being here. Today we're going to look at being distracted. How to be more present for your kids, more engaged here on Dad Space. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Now, I know we're all busy dads. I know we have work, we've got work, and then we've got work, and then we take out the garbage, and then we got work, right? We're just going all the time. And as a dad, the whole idea about being present in your home, actually being available in your home, to the point where people can actually talk to you and you're not sitting in your chair and focus on your phone or watching the game or whatever. We are available to our family, to our partner, to our children. I just want to encourage you as a dad today on the podcast that we need to be more present with our kids and in our home. We need to show up. Today we're going to talk about something incredibly important, and it has an impact on all of us as dads. This whole idea, again, about being present with our kids. It's easy to get caught up in work, social media, life in general, but with our kids, they can tell when you are not really there, all there. I don't mean mentally, but I mean maybe mentally, but physically, you're all there. You are completely engaged in what's going on around the house. They sense this in your distracted glances, your delayed responses, your half-hearted nods, your grunts. Hey, Dad, what about this? Yeah, nice. Right. They can tell that you're just kind of checked out. Okay, sometimes it happens because we're just exhausted. I'll give you that. What message are you giving to your kids in that moment when you are disconnected and absorbed with whatever's in your mind or whatever you're dealing with at the moment? What kind of message are we giving to our kids in that? These half-hearted nods, right? I want to talk today about the impact of distracted parenting. We know what distracted driving is, correct? When you're supposed to be driving, but you're looking at your phone, or you're supposed to be going down the highway and paying attention to the signs, and you're speeding and you didn't even realize the speed zone changed and you get pulled over. Do you know how fast you were going? Right? Yeah. No, I was distracted. I was reaching behind me to get the thing that fell. I was trying to grab a tissue because I had to sneeze. You take your eyes off the road, and in that moment, you are distracted driving. Are we being distracted as dads in an equal way, where we take our eyes off of our family and we're not engaged, we're not focused on what's the task at hand? The impact of distracted parenting. I think many of us as dads can easily fall into this. When we're not fully present with our kids, they might act out. They might see it as an opportunity to test your boundaries or break rules or push things as far as possible because dad's not here right now. Leave a message, right? Dad's he's in the room, but he's really not here. So I'm going to try my luck and see what I can get away with. These behaviors aren't random. In some cases, your kids are making desperate attempts to pull you back into their world because dad's just checked out. They're saying, Dad, I need you here, really here in this moment. Not in some passing comment in the hallway, but I need you here. Research shows that distracted parenting can have some real serious effects on our kids' social and their emotional development. For instance, studies have found that when parents are distracted by technology, children are more likely to misbehave and to have difficulty with language and learning how to speak and how to communicate. This isn't just about being a good parent, it's about being a present parent. That is your gift to your kids, to be present. See what I did there? Gift, present, right? They go together. So what is the magic of being present as a parent in your home with your kids? This is the flip side of being disengaged, to be present. When we're fully present, something magical happens in our home. It's funny, behavior improves. Your connection with your kids deepens. And the whole household seems to breathe a little bit easier. Our kids feel seen and heard, and it's incredibly powerful when dad is engaged around the house. Think of your children as presence detectors. They detect your presence. Their behavior often reflects your level of engagement and presence. Not gifts, not that kind of presence. Your presence, your existence, you showing up. Your children are presence, you in the room, presence detectors. So what are your kids telling you about your level of connection in the home? Are you present or are you absent? Interesting. I've got some practical tips on being a present parent. Here we go. So how do we become more present with our kids? A few tips. Let me see, what do I got here? 4 for you, all right? So keep it simple. 4, first of all, put away your distractions. You're like, I'm not easily distracted. Okay, all right. Are you a football fan? We just had the Super Bowl just recently. Try having a heart-to-heart with your father, who is a diehard football fan, and his team is tied in the last part of the game, and bring out a topic of conversation in that moment and see how attentive dad is when his team is playing on the big screen behind you as you're trying to talk about this life challenge you're facing and this crisis. Watch a husband and wife at a bar, cafe thing, and there's TVs up in the ceiling all around the room. Where does the guy position himself in relation to the TV will tell you kind of a little bit about the relationship. If the husband sits facing the television looking over top of the head of his wife during the entire meal and focuses on the game playing above her head, never once addressing or identifying with his wife, listening to her, or, ooh, they make these, because they just scored, right? You can see it. Put away your distractions. When you're with your kids, try to put away your phone and any other distractions. It's not about being perfect in this, but it's being intentional. I know I have a problem focusing on my kids when I have my phone in front of me. So I need to put my phone somewhere inconvenient so that I can be with my kids. That's intentional, and we need to do that. So put away your distractions, whatever that is. Shut off the TV, put away the phone. Whatever that is, we need to put away our distractions. And then the second one is we need to be fully engaged with our kids. Whether it's reading your kids a bedtime story, playing games, doing a puzzle, playing cards, playing pool, whatever it is, playing a game on their PlayStation, right? Like, when you are with your kids, be fully immersed in that moment, not feeling like you're missing something. Like, I could be doing a number of other things, And I'm thinking about all the other things I could be doing, yet not enjoying the moment with your kids. I'm telling you, as an empty nest dad, you're going to miss this. You're going to miss the opportunity to do the thing your kids are asking you to do right now, tonight, today, because you're busy with something else. One day, they're not going to ask you for that anymore. And I'm telling you, you're going to miss it. So, as one dad to another, make time and be fully engaged in the activity you're doing with your kids. Don't do it half-hearted. Don't be like, yeah, kind of, I'll phone it in. I'm here, but I'm not really here. Your kids are going to see it. Be fully engaged. Your kids will notice the difference of you fully engaged with them than half-hearted in your attempts to connect with your kids. Number 3 is to practice mindfulness. So, Dave, what do you mean by practice mindfulness? You need to either come from a highly stressful day at work where you're kind of like you're at 100 miles an hour in your brain, down to something a little bit more calmer and a little bit more present and less distracted. Take a few deep breaths and focus on what's happening in the moment. Mindfulness can really help you to stay grounded and more engaged with your kids. So if you're coming in hot, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're busy, your mind's spinning, you need to kind of ramp it down to where you're going to be more engaged with your kids. So be mindful. Show up, be all of you, not just your body in the room, but everything about you. And then lastly, schedule quality time. So I know if I send you a meeting invite, if I tell you to meet me at the restaurant at 5 p.m., I know that you have a punch clock and you need to punch in at a certain time. So you are good at scheduling quality time. You are good at keeping some sort of schedule, depending on what you do in life. You have some kind of internal clock. But when it comes to our family, we don't really seem to have that. So if you don't schedule time with your family, it's probably not going to happen because a bunch of other things are going to compete for your time and attention. So how often do you actually schedule time with your kids? Like, it's in your calendar. Nobody can take it away from you. It's a meeting invite that can't be canceled. I'm busy from this time to this time because I'm with my kids. Set aside dedicated time for your kids each day. It could be as simple as having dinner together and putting your phones away. Schedule quality time. I think that being present with our kids isn't always easy, but it's worth it though. It's worth it to them. It's worth it to you. Being with your kids, these are the little creatures that you had some part in creating. This is your family, this is your legacy. To have time with them and to be completely present with them is going to fill you up as well. There's benefits to you by being part of your kids' lives. They need us, your kids, they need us to be fully engaged. And when we are, the rewards are incredible. So next time chaos erupts or tensions seem to rise in your home, stop for a second and ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Take a moment to refocus and remember that your kids can actually tell the difference and they're going to respond to you in kind. How do you stay engaged? And what are the benefits have you seen in your family by being engaged? We're looking to build community here on Dad Space to give you connection with other dads, connection through the podcast, for resources, insight, opinions from guests. We're here to create this little world for dads. And I'm asking you this week to make it your intention Like it's your main focus this week. You're going to connect on a deeper level with your kids than you have in the last month. You're going to do something specific and focused with your kids. And that is your priority. That's my challenge for you. Now, that means something different to everybody, but it's going to mean everything to your kids. So please, at the end of this episode, I need you to pull out your phone, because now you're allowed to touch your phone. Pull out your phone, look at your calendar. Where's the flexible time? And start putting in time for your kids into your phone. So that when I send you a meeting invite, that time is blocked off for your kids and I can't get a piece of you because you're busy with your family. If you don't have intention, if you don't set the intent that I'm going to make my family number one, it's probably not going to happen on its own. It's going to require your time and effort and your attention. So, this week, today, I'm asking you to be a more present parent with your kid. The greatest gift you can give your kids is for you to be present in the room, in their lives, fully engaged, connecting, building strong bonds and relationship. Because one thing you're going to find out as an empty nester, those bonds that you build with your kids in their early years of their lives will be tested as adults. Things are going to change for you when you're in your 50s and your kids are in their 20s. Things are going to be a lot different than they are today. So build them up strong, build them up right today, and keep listening to Dad Space. Thanks for being here. Take care. Hey, thanks for listening to Dad Space. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the podcast. That's a great sign to wherever you're listening to this podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, fill in the blank, that this was a good podcast to send people to. So simply by listening to this point of the podcast, you're helping the show grow. So good on you. Thanks for helping us grow Dad Space. If you want to help us fill our cups over at Dad Space, head over to dadspace.ca. Dadspace.ca, simple website, right? Dadspace.ca. You can fill up our coffee cup, which helps us then to keep moving forward with the podcast and use our Buy Me a Coffee link over at dadspace.ca. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for sharing. Because the more dads we can help, the better. We're all here to help each other grow in community. That's what it's all about. And without you, the podcast is pointless. There's no reason to do any of this. So you being here means everything. See you at dadspace.ca. Take care.